Hello and welcome to HE 250. This is the summer term course for personal health, and I wanted to do just a quick navigational video to kind of maybe help you navigate this, as courses are often set up differently on Blackboard. Even between my classes that I have, this one's set up a little bit different than the others. So I wanted to do this in place of a Zoom meeting. Oftentimes we don't get very many people to attend a mandatory introduction Zoom meeting, so I thought this is something you can refer back to whenever you have questions. I have my course here on student view, so this should look just like what you have for the most part, besides what's on the right hand side here. All our stuff is stored inside Calendar. So when you go in here, it's going to list everything. If you click on the syllabus, it's going to take you to the syllabus. I do suggest you go through this a little bit, and if you have specific questions, a lot of times it can be answered from the syllabus. Things like our textbook, different grading procedures, stuff like that. Please read over the AI use policy. I understand that a lot of times AI will be used. I use it quite frequently to brainstorm my ideas, lay out my ideas. However, we need to be careful of copy and pasting over, and usually it's very easy to identify, especially when it becomes in discussions. In your discussion boards, I don't recommend you use AI at all. Just kind of use your own thoughts in there, because otherwise it'll look like a robot's been responding to those. So please don't do that, so we don't have an issue. The navigation video, this one will be stored here. If you go to course information and schedule, this is going to outline our course by the weeks. As you'll see, the sections are broke up. The first one's 2 weeks to kind of get you going in the course without panicking too much about due dates. If you haven't got the textbook, you'll need to get that. The textbook we are using is the 22nd edition. However, I do know the 20th edition works fine, the 21st. If you get anything older, a lot of times it is a different author. It's the same textbook, but there is quite a bit of variance. That being said, I tried to make as many assignments based off of the internet, kind of current things, rather than specifically necessarily to the textbook, besides like the quizzes and things like that. Chapters in here are all in order, with the exception of down here in week, I think it's section 4. You will have chapter 2. The reason why is this course was originally based off of the 20th edition, and these seem to go better together in order. And so that's the only one that's going to be a little bit funky and out of order. But this will kind of help you outline your course. Due dates. All material is due on Sundays at 11:59 p.m. No later. So if you turn it in at 12:01 a.m., that is considered late. However, the last week, with this being the summer term, it will end on a Thursday night at 11:59 p.m., and I will send out multiple reminders, so maybe make note of that. Also in this section is this will be the topics, but then I do list the assignments. If you're like me and you like to mark things off or do a to-do list, this might be something to look at to help guide you in each section. Most sections will have a quiz and a discussion post where you need to respond to 3 of your classmates' discussion boards. Those do close with the due dates. Okay, so whatever that due date is, like section 1, 7/19, the behavior modification discussion and quiz 1 will close. Those cannot be reopened for any reason. The rest of the assignments will remain open for 70% max late credit. So if you get it in within the next section, it'll be 70%. If you get it within 2 sections, it'll be around 60%, and so on down the line. If you do it in the last section, you'll probably be around 50% credit, which does help in the long term. So please make sure you do that. Another thing is there are no extensions in this course, so please do not reach out about those regardless of reasoning. This is an online course. You can work ahead, and you can turn things in ahead of time. So I do suggest that if, with it being summer, you're planning a camping trip or you're doing something else, I highly suggest you plan ahead, just because if you email me and say, I had a long weekend, can I turn things in late? I'll say anything that's still visible, you can for late credit. The quiz and the discussion cannot be reopened. This kind of eliminates the guesswork on who is being truthful and who is kind of being deceptive, which we've learned over the years. So please adhere to these due dates. Okay, let's exit out of here. This is the older version, chapter 1 and 2. It does align a little bit, but this is just an emergency use thing if you get in a serious jam. Okay, big one here. First week of the term, by the 8th of July, please do this introduction discussion, because this will count for your attendance. If you do not turn this in, you're at risk of being dropped by, I think, that Friday. So please turn this one in. Okay, then here's the sections outline. I put the due date. I listed if it's 2 weeks, 1 week, 1 week, 1 week. This one's 2 weeks, and then this one's a little less than 1 week. Okay, if you click in each section, it'll actually have a section overview that kind of gives another rundown of what chapters and what areas in the book. Okay, it also lists assignments and their point allotment. Okay, and then we have some things. There's an overview video in each section kind of outlining what's in that section. This might have something that just is having you, hey, look ahead, something we need to work on a little bit for the sections to come. And then I've listed the quizzes. You go in the quiz, you would start it. Okay, we start your attempt. You get 2 attempts, and it will take the highest grade. Okay. Next, we have some other assignments that look like this. Okay, and you would essentially view the instructions. It'll outline this, and it'll tell you exactly what to do. Then you can upload your assignment. If you copy and paste it in, just make sure it looks somewhat legible, please. And please try to type up as many assignments as you can. It's really hard to read handwriting a lot of times. Okay. So here's section 2, kind of just a similar setup. All right. And it's going to go through section 3, similar setup of overview, an overview video, a discussion, a quiz, and then an assignment. Okay. Same thing here, just kind of panning through. The cool thing about this class is there's no midterm and there's no final. I did that because this is personal health, and I think it would be nice to kind of have less stress for you during this term. So all the assignments are based off of you. They're based off of your personal health, your behaviors, things like that. And the goal is you can identify hopefully a few things from this class by the end of the term that you maybe would want to work on, just to improve overall health. So you will not see a final, and actually the last section is pretty simple. You're just going to do a final update and a couple assignments, and boom, you are finished for the term. So pretty simple. Grades are updated fairly quickly. If there is a point deduction in your grades, there will be feedback about why. Okay. If you got max credit, there might not necessarily be any feedback. But again, if you have a deduction and there's no feedback, please reach out. That means either something's wrong or I can explain why you got deducted. Okay. Hope everybody has a great term. Please feel free to reach out to me.